it's crucial to take time from your life to spend time with the people that brought you life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't cry.
It's okay. I don't know how it looks. Should I look? I think it's okay. It's probably fine. Let it be. So I cooked eggs the other day.
Yes.
And what was funny about this experience, cooking eggs, was that... Wait, say something again?
Hey.
I need to cut you up a little more. These mics are different. That one's more soft.
Softer. Should I touch it with my lips?
Just as close as you can. You don't have to touch it.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, I was cooking these eggs. And, I was just like cooking the eggs. And then I went to eat the eggs. And I noticed there's 3 long hairs
Ew.
of my own. You don't have to. Ooh. Ooh. But there was 3 long hairs, and it took me a couple minutes just to make the eggs, and the hairs were just like just fell into the eggs. Yeah,
So
it's unfortunate.
did you take the hairs out of the eggs?
I just was
You
like,
just ate them. Ugh. So
no,
gross.
I took them out, but even if it was even though it was my own hair, it felt pretty gross still. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
What's going on? My name's Cole Connor. Welcome back to the Cole Connor Podcast. This is episode 16. I consider this season 2 because this is the second time I've had my mom on.
Hey, I'm Mom. Yay.
This is just Jenny. I forgot to set an alarm, which I'm going to do really quickly because the camera cuts off after 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh, you said it wasn't going to take long.
Yeah, I know. And we're both feeling anxious, so it might not even take that long. Where's my stopwatch? Do you know?
Under clock.
Wow. You're so smart. Okay, cool. Yeah, I consider this season 2, and I hope to be able to have you on at least once a year.
Oh, thank you.
Until the
Thank you.
until the end.
Especially with my teeth.
Until the end of time. That's my goal.
Until the end of time. I love that.
Until the end of time. So this has been a crazy year. What's kind of funny about the beginning, I actually went back and watched the podcast that we did last year. Mm-hmm. And I might be able to bloop some of the things in, but I literally was like, everything's going great right now. I mean, I'm doing really well. I'm on my own, but I mean, I can move in with you and like I could do all the I made this statement that was kind of predicting the future, and that happened.
That actually happened.
It really did.
Yep.
So I guess first things first, and I don't really want to make all our podcasts together just about how you feel about my life, but let's just do a quick update. First things second. I already said that.
Right.
First things
like...
third. I just passed my second unit thing for the state. I passed the state and national to get my real estate license. Also funny, on the first podcast I ever did, I said, I don't want to get my real estate license. I don't want to do it. We can bloop that in too. But yeah, I did officially, and it's been a long process. I don't actually...
Sorry. There's a see something.
I don't actually have it yet. So I have to do a couple more things, but pretty much there, which is pretty cool. So... a year has gone by, and like I said, just a couple minutes on it. But how has this been for you? Because you have your own life going on. You have lots of other kids and grandkids, and from the perspective of just being my mom, how has this year been for you?
It's been a roller coaster, actually.
Really?
Yes. I mean, imagine that. Mm-hmm. Because the last podcast we were filming from your home in Columbia.
Yeah.
/ office.
Yes.
And then you basically sold everything and drove cross country to LA, which was very roller coastery for me.
It was
and COVID hit.
That's what was scary.
Yes.
I mean, I'm already on the phone with you every day, but every day we were just like,
thankful.
Yeah. We were just talking back and forth about what's going on. You're seeing the news that LA is going down in flames
Oh my
pretty much.
gosh.
But I'm like walking my dog and just relaxing. LA was an awesome experience. But it was kind of scary because you just didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And as a mother, and no matter how old your child is, you're always going to be concerned for their well-being and safety, especially if they're across the whole United States and a pandemic is in the process.
Once in a history of the world.
Right.
Pretty much.
And, there's no way you can get to them. And that's a scary thought. You're grown up and you have been raised well and you're very smart. And so in the end, I just let that go. And here you are today.
Yeah. I'm sure it wasn't easy to let it go. I'm sure.
It was a daily process of talking yourself into it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Everything's it's a small piece of time. Yeah. Small piece of time.
You tell Cole that all the time.
All the stuff that I say to everybody else is.
You have to use that for yourself. Yeah. So how about when I came back and I broke up with my ex and I just called you, and I think I might have told you after the fact, after I made my mind up, or I can't remember. Do you remember
coming back?
Yeah, just about the whole thing, like everything.
I think you'd pretty much made your mind up.
And
yes, you absolutely had, and you were on your way back.
Yeah. And how was that part? Were you like kind of relieved?
I was absolutely relieved that you were coming back this way. It was heart-wrenching that everything that you'd been through and all, but it was a learning process for you. And I was just really thankful to see you come back this way and be close to me for a little while, and like really close. So was thinking that about that part, but it was good.
She pretty much was just like, come home, and then we figured it out once I got here. But I stayed here for 2-ish months, and so that was an adjustment for sure for everybody.
For everybody,
yeah. But let's just fast forward a little bit to now. What about like how far? I'm not trying to hype myself up because I haven't really come that far, but the fact that
you've made many strides. You have learned from everything that's happened over the last few years, and I think that was very beneficial for you. You had to have that experience to actually grow from it, and you learned a lot. And yes, it was uncomfortable. It wasn't unpleasant, but it was uncomfortable and an adjustment for the time that you spent here. And I know for you, it had to be really hard emotionally, mentally.
And it was embarrassing.
And all of that, to have to tuck tail and come back and say, oh, okay, it didn't quite work out the way. But, that's part of life. That's just part of life. And I love your resilience and the way that you just put it out there. You're authentic, and you say, yeah, okay, it didn't work out. And being transparent is very important, I think, especially nowadays in the world we live in. But it's very helpful for other people to see that everybody has falls and fails and struggles, and everybody does. And then you can do one of two things: you can lay down and die, or you can get up and go. And that's what you did. Is like, I'm embarrassed and this sucks, but I'm basically starting all over again. But you did it, and here you are. How much later?
Almost a year. A year since I left, pretty much. At this point last year, I was in a whole nother place with like employees and girl and dog and selling the house, and now it's just me. And I have a girlfriend, and I have an apartment, and I have a car, and I had to start a new business, and
you're paying for things on your own, starting from scratch all over again. You're working on your credit. You're building your clientele up again. You've done a lot of really good stuff. I mean, impressive stuff. And not just the stuff that's in Beaufort, but the stuff that you're creatively working on. You're constantly doing that. Your music, your vlogs, your vlogs, all of that stuff is just really encouraging for people, even for me. It's encouraging for me. It's impressive. And yeah, it makes me happy to see you working and striving. And, as far as your personal relationships go, I think that you've learned a lot from past experiences. And you took this relationship and bringing it on a whole lot differently than before.
Yeah, it's like
slowly and getting to know each other slowly and talking and getting to know each other slowly. Why the rush? Why the rush?
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I think I want to dive more into the relationship stuff at some point and just talk about, because I feel like I've learned so much, and I can only imagine what other people learn and what people go through and all that stuff. So it'd be helpful. But okay, I want to talk about something, and we'll probably just make this one session, because I know we're both in a rush. I want to talk about getting older. And from two perspectives, and that's me and you. Because I think last year I went through some sort of a midlife crisis, which is probably part of the reason why, not midlife, quarter life crisis. Part of the reason why I did everything I did, because I was just like, this isn't right. Nope, this is not okay. This is not what I was thinking. This is just, something's really off about this, and I'm this age, and it's not okay.
Right.
And so my brain just was like, and I've kind of wrapped my head around it more. I'm like, okay, I'm 28. My plan is to do this. My timeline's not been what I wanted it to be, but I'm adjusting, and I actually really like the person I'm becoming, and I like the things I'm doing. I enjoy them, and I still get to be creative, and I don't even know if I really would like to be like Drake or Eminem.
What?
I've realized that over the past year, it's just that the realities of what they do and go through.
Yes.
Probably wouldn't really enjoy just the type of person I am. As in, like, if you're touring all the time or whatever. Right. But I do, I still want to like perform and stuff, but just not like maybe how they do it. So like coming to grips with that, and a lot of people deal with that. But you, even going into this other stage of life that you've been going into over the past like 5 years, how are you adjusting with that? I mean, this is being a grandma. This is just getting older. This is seeing your kids and them being older. How does that feel?
Well, there are a lot of different feelings and emotions with that as you do get older. Something that just recently, became very clear in my head, and it's representative of getting older. I absolutely know. As my father just celebrated.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Don't do it.
Dad just celebrated his 73rd birthday. Yay! Happy belated birthday. Well, I was there with you on your birthday, so anyway, I realized as I was driving there to spend some time with my dad on his birthday that this is most important to my father, 73. I'm 54. You're 28. As you get older, I'm hoping that this is what people do, or most people do that have parents that are still alive. And I just came to the full realization that visiting and spending time with him and my parent, both of them, that is so important. And I didn't feel like, throughout my life, I haven't felt like that was the most important thing, because my life was busy, kids, work, this, that, and it still is busy. It's much more busy than it was. However, life is always going to be full. And the realization
that's so true
that I had was even though it's crucial to take time from your life to spend time with the people that brought you life.
Yeah.
Don't cry.
It's okay.
And watching you grow and mature, especially over the last year, because I feel like you've learned a lot. You've experienced a lot. You've learned a lot about life in general, even more so than you ever thought you had. I think this has really been a realization year for you. And I appreciate all the time that you take out of your day to spend with me. And that we talk to each other on the phone almost every single day. And that just, I love it. It's a wonderful feeling to have that you're willing to do it and you make time to do it because your life is busy too. And so I really do appreciate that.
I'm glad, and I'm glad that I do that. I'm glad that you reciprocate that, because it one thing that I might probably said before, but it's like to feel like you know somebody and they know you very well, and that y'all both take time out of your day and you both listen to each other, and it's a give and take relationship where I think we already talked about how we, before there are times where we would just, like, maybe I would control the conversation for too many times or something, and it becomes draining.
Right.
But I really appreciate the back and forth and the trust and the really just growing in life, and the fact that I am your son, but you do listen to what I say, and I think you, for the most part, take what I say pretty seriously, and you listen to advice if I have it, because it's a different perspective,
Right.
And vice versa. Like we always talk about, I don't always listen to the advice, but I don't always like do the advice, but I listen.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's really important, and that's a big realization. There's been some other people. There's a lot going on underneath the thing that we won't really discuss that makes you think about what really matters. I think, and I think it is spending time and just getting past differences, even if you don't get along with people, or even if you have you don't agree with them. Like, we don't always have to agree,
And we don't.
Yeah, and like with even with Bailey, one of the things I love about talking to her is that we don't agree on religion anymore, and we still are just able to have super open, honest conversations. I feel like,
Right.
even though I'm sure there's things that I won't say to her and she won't say to me out of respect.
Boundaries.
There's boundaries.
That is what we have learned.
Yeah, boundaries.
We have learned to have boundaries in our relationship, for sure.
Yeah, I think that changes the game.
As you grow and become an adult and go through that, that is something that is it's important as well for me as well as you. And I've had to learn how to have boundaries, and you've helped out a lot in that, because sometimes it's just like too much, and there's so much and it's too much, and so let's have some boundaries that we don't say everything there is to say about every single thing.
It's just like in a personal, or like a girlfriend, boyfriend, or wife, husband relationship. You don't want to say everything. You really don't. That I learned that the hard way. You really don't want to say everything, because most of the time, these random thoughts that you have, they're not really logical, or they don't make sense, and they're probably rude sometimes. You don't want to say all that stuff. That's boundaries in general, I think, is really important.
Yeah.
So, wrapping this up, not making it too long, how do you foresee this next year going? Over 2021. Definitely last year wasn't what any of us expected.
I think it's going to take more than a year to fix some issues that we have going on in the world today.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And a different leader. But that's another story for another day. However, I think that I know we're in a great place. We're in a really great place to grow and build and we're isolated from a lot of things.
We as in
Where we live.
Okay.
In the low country.
Yeah.
We're isolated from a lot of things that bigger cities and places are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
We have wonderful things going on here.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of growth and building and infrastructure this is a good place to be. You're close to Hilton Head Bluffton for business. You've got a lot of things going on that will benefit you. You're in touch with lots of fresh, young people and in all sorts of industry, not industry, that's not the right word.
Yeah, it works.
Career.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see a lot of really nice things happening for you this coming up year, as long as you continue to do what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Discipline and consistent.
Discipline, consistency, and continuous pressure.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to try to continue to do. And for yourself?
I'm working on getting myself health-wise in a better place. Mm-hmm. As that's another part of the getting older thing, menopause. We were talking about that this morning before we started this thing. It's a tough animal, and I would just want to get on board with getting that stuff squared away, so I can live my best life as well,
mentally and physically. I'm striving to do that too, with the consistent discipline.
Being healthy.
Healthy. Happy. Yeah, that's it. It's like I was like husky.
Hardy.
No. Healthy and happy. All right, well, I know this one's short, guys, but we're keeping it short and sweet. And yeah, tune in next time to the Cole Connor podcast. You have anything else you want to say?
Yes, to the Cole Connor Realtor podcast, because he will be a bona fide realtor by that time, right?
Yep, should be. Hopefully next week. It's official.
And he will be. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
You can whisper to the Yeah.
Every day I wake up with a vision. Cooking in the kitchen, ain't no fucking in the mission. Like, yo, shaking up your city with my bitchin'. Sold in the building, and the motherfucker fizzing. Like, whoa, Cole won't stop till they get that gold. Cole won't stop till you sing my song. All the way home, do it, cause I said.